Hi, welcome to the New Year's Eve edition of Simply Stated. I checked my teeth, making sure there's no lipstick on them for you. I hope you're all doing well and you're having a happy and safe, healthy New Year's wherever you're at and enjoying the holiday that is celebrated all over the world. I am dressed for the holiday in a festive blue necklace for the Detroit Lions, and I also have on a really cute dark pink dress. So, anyways, I'm going to go through a few notable events from this past year and sort of talk about where I feel like this channel has gone because it's grown. And I just want to thank all the new subscribers who've joined in on watching the channel, and I really appreciate your support. I'd like to also announce I'm now formally considered a Playboy bunny, and I am on their site, and I'm also still on OnlyFans as a creator there. And that's, of course, a totally different type of content from the Simply Stated shows and also Simply Yoga with Deborah. So, notably, this past year, President Biden was forced to step down from his position as President of the United States, and the United States had their first female president, which was Kamala Harris. Even if she was just filling in the position and wasn't formally elected, she was the first female president of the United States. It's also important to note that we also went through the assassination attempt against President Trump. Now President Trump, President-elect Trump is formally his title. And he's also the former president at the same time during the campaign season. Also notably, former President Jimmy Carter passed away on December 29th, 2024 in Plains, Georgia. It's also important to note that the investigations in the United Healthcare CEO shooting are still ongoing. Christopher Wray of the FBI was forced to step down from his position and will be replaced by Kash Patel through the formal appointment process in Congress as put forward by President-elect Trump. So there's a little bit of lag time with another person filling in the position right now. I have noticed there are some incorrect headlines still portraying Christopher Wray as the head of the FBI, and he's not. It's more to note because he actually did step down himself from the position under pressure from Congress. So it's important to note that there was some people would call the bombing or breakdown of the Bay Bridge in Maryland earlier this year, notably the shootings following the Super Bowl after the Kansas City Chiefs won. And we also had the incident with the Dallas Cowboys against the Detroit Lions when one of the players was injured. And there has been some ongoing drama for the Detroit Lions with continued attacks and threats. It is important to note that we are coming into a new year in 2025 with a Super Bowl, with the Kansas City Chiefs more than likely going to be in the lineup to play against either it looks like possibly the Philadelphia Eagles, the Buffalo Bills, or actually the Detroit Lions. And I would be more than happy to see anybody beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I have some really good friends who are the Buffalo Bills Mafia, and I would totally support them if they went against the Kansas City Chiefs. I hope the Detroit Lions make it, but I'm also scared for them because they don't have the same mafia group supporting them that the Buffalo Bills do. And of course, the Philadelphia Eagles are probably one of the strongest teams you'll ever know. So it's going to be a really interesting year for football coming into 2025, but also a kind of scary and overly dramatic one. So watch if you like or not. That's all I have to say about the coming year as far as NFL football goes. Because the Super Bowl is going to be, nobody really could have, well, no, I totally said football was going to go there. But anyways, we'll talk about that in another episode. I think for me, it's been really interesting noting that Beyonce's concert went off horribly and had low viewership for what she's supposed to have. She had a sort of paid viewership, which she invested in. Interestingly, she lip synced to We're All White, which looked like the white parties that her husband is now under investigation for, as well as her. And there's also the issues with their friend P. Diddy being in prison. So it just looked really tacky and weird. There was a number of fake press releases sent out. Notably, her own mother came forward and said she doesn't know why Emma would watch it if they hate Beyonce. I'm really glad you said that, because I actually didn't bother to watch it because I don't like Beyonce and I don't support her weird labor trafficking behavior. So, and I think that's probably the truth for most people, but the clips I did see of the show looked horrible and were made fun of, and that's actually why I saw them, because comedians were making fun of them. So, let's see. Ooh, I'm kind of getting through all this stuff pretty quickly. I did sort of swirl around back to an original idea that I had looked into and got some more information about. And this was actually through TMZ and some other media groups that had not wanted to talk about it before. But there's an agreement that Halle Berry, we had thought, might have been a victim in the past, and that's why there were some of the car accidents and weird fights around court hearings. And then you start to think, this was in the 2000s under President Bush, when things were really out of control. Like, those were the days where I was literally getting picked up and carried around, and other women were just disappearing. through the mafia groups related to Russia and the Chinese CCP around the Hollywood scene. And I mean, like, from anywhere in the country. Because I had problems when I was living in the DC area with this. And so did other people. And here's the thing to note is that we're in a better era now because it doesn't happen as often to women. And still, I would caution you to stay away from, if you're in the industry at all, like even as an influencer, I would caution you to stay away from Grammys, Academy Awards, Emmys, Golden Globes, all that stuff. If you even have the money to attend. So, because they're just incredibly dangerous workplaces. Like, skip the Vanity Fair party, don't ever feel bad about not going. Have your own Vanity Fair party. Whatever makes you happy. But, you know, that's sort of my point about all of it, is that I came to the conclusion that Halle Berry, she's a client of Endeavor, meaning she has to have Russian heritage, so she lied entirely to us about being Swedish and African. I think she's actually another one of the Albanian assets, and in no way really different from O.J. Simpson. She just got away with more because she's female, and so essentially was literally just running around LA in her car killing people. That's my opinion, and that's actually the opinion of a number of people that I've talked to in the media over the past year. So Halle Berry not such a great career anymore. I mean, we're actually lucky that we have Jada Pinkett now in the media. Or not so much. Maybe we're lucky we have her at least as a replacement. I gotta find a way to joke about it because I'll think weird. So I'm just really glad that that situation was actually given some closure a while back, and that even Jada Pinkett couldn't start as much trouble as Halle Berry used to. You know, there's progress in everything, right? So, the other thing I noticed for me doing this show is that my reach has expanded. I actually did notice that Joe Rogan has been tuning into the show because he's used some of the commentary in his show, or maybe it's his research staff. It doesn't really matter. But I'm just glad. Like, I'm an influencer, so I'm glad the information's getting out there and people are picking it up. The one thing I've noticed, especially that I saw an interview with 50 Cent, where he felt comfortable telling the interviewer that his idea was not a conspiracy theory, that it was actually just a theory and an idea. And that's all I want to get across to people is, for example, John Cusack went off during the COVID pandemic in 2020 and started talking about how he thought the 5G towers from Verizon were spreading COVID all over the world. And he wasn't entirely wrong. The Chinese MMS system, or MSS system, because it has different names, their signal system can carry, like, they can commit biological warfare attacks by carrying viruses and bacteria in these little, like balloon almost shapes and hitting people in the face with them. It's a type of bioterrorism. So he didn't really explain it correctly or understand what it was, and he blamed it on Verizon, which is where it becomes incorrect. But it's also like the theory I taught you of two truths and a lie. So the obfuscation is that he got it wrong and thought it was Verizon's fault, as opposed to just understanding what was going on with the Chinese military systems. And that's all I ever want to get across to you in these shows, is a little bit of education ideas. It's important to know that there is a trend right now with Hollywood where people are signaling their relationships to the Chinese CCP and the Russian KGB FSB by wearing red leather dresses or large voluminous red dresses, noting that this is actually a dark pink dress and not leather and not a ball gown. So, anyways, Happy New Year's, and thank you so much for tuning in. This has been another edition of Simply Stated.